How's it going? Baldur here, and I am going to try to do my Amsterdam to Helsinki flight once more. And hopefully I will get this thing finished. Alright, so I did all my METAR stuff. I'm actually going to be going to 370 for this flight. Cool. Anyway, let's go ahead and get things started. First things first, we need to get this thing running, the APU. And it always takes forever for this thing to spool up. But it eventually does. Still waiting to get the buses on, which shouldn't be too long. Let's take a look.
Flight attendants prepare for departure, cross-check and all call, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, welcome aboard our flight today. We're wrapping up the final paperwork here to get you on your way momentarily. I want to thank you so much for your company and
Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and disconnect the GPU. Set the chocks. There we go. Now we are actually ready for our engines to start, so alright, so the engine is spooling up nicely. Always a good thing to see. Ah, perfect. Alright, so now we got that out of the way. We are going to start the other engine. Well, actually, let's get our generators going. There we go. While this engine spools up, let's go ahead and put in our fuel. Alright, so let's take a look. Air conditioner and flight controls. The first one's pretty easy, so we take this off, put it to auto, and auto. There we go. Packs are good to go. Yaw damper. Yes. My controls are free and correct. And then auto brake set to rejected takeoff. Alright, cool. Alright, so we are going to be taking off on runway 06. Nothing too different from the usual. But yeah, let's go ahead and taxi. Alright, so what else do we need to do? Things look pretty good right now. Just need to slowly taxi to our destination. Ah, so this must be the runway that the big planes do not take off on. I'm guessing it's the other runway over there that we have that does that. Could be. I've only been to Amsterdam once, and by Amsterdam I mean the airport, which was a connecting flight to Helsinki, by the way. So I might be doing a little bit of reliving the wonderful days when I could actually travel without getting sick and dying from a horrible disease. Oh, those were the days, right? Oh, wrong control. Alright, that looks good. Let's go ahead and get our TCAS going. Transponder, I should say. Alright, we're taking off.
knots.
Cross check.
D1, rotate. Positive green.
Gear up.
$400. $1,000.
We're doing a straight out departure. How about that? Let's go ahead and get our flaps out. It's not my fault if the altimeter is not good. I'm only going off of what the internet told me. So it should be fair and accurate. But hey, at the very least, we are doing very well in terms of our climb. And definitely good with our standard instrument departure. There we go. Now I know what a sit is. Alright, so we're at 250 knots. That's usually the limit of what you can get in not Class B airspace. Class B airspace is about 200 knots, but 250 is the airspeed needed below 10,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and increase the climb a little bit, just so we can get to 10,000 feet. Once we get to 10,000 feet, I am going to enable the autopilot, or engage the autopilot, and then it should be smooth sailing from here. Everything seems to be going pretty good from our departure. Alright, so let's take a look where we are at. Now, it'll take a little bit before we end up with the other flight, or the other route, I should say, waypoint. Blow the nose a little bit. Yeah, so that's one of the things I don't really understand when it comes to people doing these flight simulators. I only want to do the autopilot in the boring parts. If we're talking about takeoff and landing and whatnot, it's really a lot more fun if you follow the crosshairs. But now that we're coming up on 10,000 feet, I'm going to engage the autopilot. It doesn't look like I needed to change it really much at all. Okay. Cool. And now that we're about to get to 10,000 feet, time to get these things out of there. And we're past 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and climb. Alright, so everything looking good so far, from what I can tell. A little bit loud on my end, if I'm being perfectly honest. Probably loud on your end. Sorry about that. Alright, so goodbye, Netherlands. Hello, Helsinki. Alright. Looks like we are good to go. Alright, so, yeah, today has been more or less uneventful. What I've been doing for the most part of my day is that I've really just been doing a lot of cooking. I know that sounds very weird, but here's the thing. The COVID-19 virus is still around. It is still dangerous. It is something that can still get you killed. And so, even though things are starting to open up, and even though it seems like certain protesters don't really give a damn about proper sanitation, I still believe that I should be safe when it comes to this virus. So, I don't go out for anything aside from grocery shopping and the occasional getting of gas, which I haven't really needed to do so. And once I go with the gas, once I get the groceries, once I get the gas, I just stay at home, sitting on my ass, playing video games. I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. I recently finished, which game was it? Dishonored. And I finished one of the, which one was it? Now, it was Assassin's Creed that I got. It was one of them. One of the Assassin's Creed, and then I'm on my way to finishing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and maybe Ghost Recon Wildlands. I mean, that's kind of my schedule. I also want to finish Majora's Mask with that playthrough as well, for those of you guys who follow me on Twitch. I do a bit of Majora's Mask as well when I'm not in the mood of flying a plane. But right now, I am very much in the mood of flying a plane. Things are going pretty well, so we're heading up to 14,000 feet. Now, fun fact, once we hit 14,000 feet, everyone in an aircraft is legally required to be provided oxygen. No ifs, ands, or buts. And so we have to take a look at our cabin altitude. So it says below 5,000. Considering that we are quite a bit higher than that, I believe the pressurization system is working. So we are good on that end. So at this point, we just need to keep climbing, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so what else is there for me to talk about? Well, I should probably get the rejected takeoff switch and solve that small issue. Really doesn't do much. All the RTO here is that, let's say that there's an emergency on the runway, then what will happen is that if you were to put the throttle onto idle before taking off, then it'll automatically engage the maximum amount of brakes. That's what auto brake does. Usually I set it to auto brake 2 unless it's in a small airport, then it gets to auto brake 3. Just if you're wondering what my mindset was when it comes to flying these aircraft. Whoa, clouds changed. Hello, Mag 1. The answer to that one is no, you cannot simulate a hijack. I mean, you could, but I'm not going to do that. That just seems terrible, and if you ever go on, say, VATSIM, they do not allow hijackings. So you cannot squawk 7500, and you cannot I am not using any weather plugin. This X-Plane 11 is pretty vanilla. Most of my stuff that I have is on Prepared, which I'm not really in the mood to do. Prepared has the 737-200. Awesome plane, but other than that, it's kind of like, whatever. So let's go ahead. Click that. We're getting close to 18,000 feet. So when we get to 18,000 feet, we are going to go to standard altitude. Going to standard altitude pretty much means 29.92 inches, and I think it's 1014 millibars, I think. Yeah, I don't know. America should have adopted the metric system. If all these people want to protest something, they should protest something for science. Alright, so getting into the clouds, we're heading to 18,000 feet. Alright, cool. Standard. 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 And cabin altitude is still good. Cool. Alright, so now that we're up with that. Ooh, and we are above the clouds now, which is we were above the clouds. How cruel. We should be pretty well set in terms of how things are going. I do have to deal with this climb. I also have to watch my airspeed because I noticed that the airspeed is dropping a little bit. I'm thinking I might have to lower it down to about 1,000 feet. To make sure that we're not running out of any airspeed. Alright, so I have started my descent into Finland, and what did you know it? Things are a little bit bumpy, but I'm also a little bit high. Doesn't matter too much because I'm intercepting the glide slope pretty well. It's just that I kind of waited a little bit too long to get things going. Either way, what I'm going to do is that this is flight level 219, 21,900 feet, which we will be getting there pretty soon. We are currently at 250 knots. Well, we're not at 250 knots, but we are definitely 250 knots indicated airspeed, and as things unfold, not much else is really going on, so let's go ahead and make sure that we intercept this glide slope perfect. Well, doesn't have to be perfect, but good enough. Alright. Alright, pretty damn close, actually. Alright, so looks good to me. Let's see how my stream looks. I'm gonna check online just to make sure. Ah, perfect. Okay, so everything looking good. Though, according to this, it seems like we are descending faster than we should, but I'm not too worried about that because I'm more interested in this bar. The next flight level will be 096, and that's hang on. Let's see if I can do this so HK 937. CSX3 HK 871. Alright. Think that works. Alright, so I am going to get the altimeter for Helsinki. Alright, so that's going to be 3027. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. Alright, so moving on, we are going to, I guess, reach our destination. That will be, we'll reach 10,000 feet. Once we reach 10,000 feet, we will descend even further. But for now, let's go 063. Does my descent path look good? I believe it does. Coots. Let's go ahead and get the landing lights on. A little bit early, but I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. speed though, we're kind of fluctuating on that. Not badly though. Visibility looks good, save for a few clouds. Holy Jesus, look at that arrival. Alright, well, what can I say? I wanted to do a Euroflight. This is what I get for having this Euroflight. I don't like it's too big of a deal. Hey, you know, one thing we could do is lower airspeed a little bit. HK 937 is going to be 053, alright.
To go.
Yeah, not sure why the auto throttle is acting a little bit weird, why I'm accelerating when I should be decelerating. Must be the winds, but I'm still going through the motions. This freaking arrival looks insane. But what do I know? I am not an airline pilot.
To go.
This must be a nasty crosswind. Alright, so 230, looks like it is our, whoa, final approach altitude.
Thousand to go. $2,500.
Huh. Don't know how this happened. Alright, so I'm going on manual on a lot of this stuff. So wait, is that Podum or Bodum? Is there like Podum? Because it looks like the waypoint is at a lake. This is not the best wind for this type of approach, this type of turbulence, but yeah, that's perfectly fine. We just need to, line ourselves up with the runway. We're having a little bit of wind shear. Wind shear is manageable. Gonna have to descend on the wide slope here.
1,000.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
Alright, yeah, I kind of had totally forgot to do those two things. Alright, the approach looks good. Enough.
$500.
500.
$400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Ooh. That was butter.